Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday morning. It's the morning after our second kind of win back to back, and beating Everton 3-1 yesterday. And I'm going to be reviewing the post match press conference from David Moyes. And before I go into it, what's kind of sort of prevalent is, in case you didn't already know, is again, to be fair, if I knock someone, I've got to say something good, that's just being honest, like we mentioned, what a goal by Souček, one of the goals of the season, compare that to some, I do knock Souček a lot in some of the things he does when he isn't scoring, but scored a great goal yesterday, so hats off to him really. And in terms of the press conference, David Moyes, you've got to say he's one of the kind of the honest managers out there really, who gives a lot of respect to the opposition even after, like in this example, we won. We don't get that from people like Arteta. Arteta's brutal. If Arsenal lose, he'll never say like fair play, well done to the opposition, they deserve to win. Arteta will always say we were better than them, one or two things didn't happen, and sometimes teams lose 5-0. Some managers will say, oh yeah, up to their first goal, I thought we were in it. I mean, all right, it's about 90 minutes. You could be 0-0 after 5 minutes. Doesn't mean you can say that, summarise that as a situation for the whole game. If the opposition is good, they're good. If you've been lucky, you say it. And Moisey, to be fair, in this press conference was very, very down to earth, very, very honest, really. So let's start off with it. Like I said, straight away, David Moyes said that he felt the result was perhaps harsh on Everton. Again, a great honest reply. And when you look at the stats, it's something like 22 shots from Everton, 11 from West Ham. And then again, when you look at shots on goal, I think they've had like 7, 8, 9 shots on goal. We've had 5. So all the stats, including, I think the possession was 56% against 44 in Everton's favour. So that kind of backed up all the stats. That scoreline didn't quite reflect the whole game. It's one of those things. They were having a go at us. We were having a go at them. They missed loads of chances. We didn't miss that many, but whatever came our way, we kind of more or less took it better than them, didn't we? So David Moyes, praising Everton, saying it's slightly harsh on them, and another day could have been a different result. But small things here and there kind of were quite crucial, really. And that kind of nicely went on to Areola. Again, he praised Areola, saying he made 4 or 5 good saves. That could be, looking back and reflecting a day later, that's why it's always good to do show a day after. Adrenaline has calmed down a bit, you reflect a lot on things you might have missed when you immediately go live full-time reaction, which I normally do. So that could go down as one, if not one of the best goalkeeping performances this season in the Premier League. Like, I looked on that kind of Flash Score website I look at during my game to look at stats, to look at kind of summaries, stats of the game, player ratings, and that website gave Areola 9.8. That's about as high as I've ever seen for a lot of players, and that reflects the game. There was a penalty save, which I didn't really go into in my full-time reaction. It's a very good penalty save. And on top of that, there are at least 3, 4, 5 very, very good saves. And I've always said this about Areola, which David Moyes confirmed a bit later on, which we'll go into, which is Areola, shot stopping. There's not many better goalkeepers out there. He had one in the opposite goal, didn't he? England goalkeeper, who's equally good as well. And again, similar between the Everton goalkeeper and Areola, the things he needs to kind of improve on. Distribution, what David Moyes said in this post-match interview. And for me, it's about communication, it's about commanding the box, it's about confidently coming out for crosses and corners and free kicks. So some of the goals we've conceded, it's been where Areola's not clearly communicated to one of our defenders that he's coming out for it, or he'll get there first, and literally there's been a mix-up. And that's a lot of the times we've conceded the goals that way, so lots of room for improvement, but equally he's very, very good in the areas I said, really. And building on that, David Moyes said that Areola is very athletic, very agile. It's kind of in his DNA, the family, whatever. I don't know what his family background is. Maybe there's more sporting people out there. I don't know. But he mentioned distribution as what he needs to improve on. So, David Moyes is like a strict head teacher. He'll praise you, but he'll always balance it and say you still need to improve on that. So that's kind of one of the characters of David Moyes. And then he began to summarise and say 2 wins in 2. 7 goals in the last 2 games, which is a very fair point from David Moyes. And you've got me normally which I will always do, complaining about not having a striker, a specialist striker. It'll matter in those tight games, according to me. But we've scored 7 goals in 2 games, so that kind of, it's in David Moyes' favour in terms of when he's never in a rush to kind of buy a striker, really. But that's for kind of another show. And then we kind of moved on to Alvarez, and he mentioned that in Declan Rice, he believes we lost England's best player, and then they didn't quite know as a club how to fill that void, and then they've done it by buying 1 or 2 players, Ward-Prowse, Alvarez. And he said he's really happy for me. He's settled in reasonably well. But again, he says there's room for improvement. He has concerns about his fitness in terms of, he mentioned that he says Alvarez struggles to complete 90 minutes in the Premier League at the moment. So that's what he's talking to him about. But then he said when he scored the 3rd goal, he ran from one side of the pitch to the other. He goes, I don't know how he did that. Maybe he's more fit than I thought. So a little bit of unclarity there. Moyes saying he's done all right. It's a big position to fill after Declan Rice, and he feels that the physicality, which is Premier League, no game is easy. It goes right to the wire. Often, as you saw in Liverpool's winning goal, 99th minute, you've got to be switched on for 100 minutes in this league. It's tough, doesn't matter who you're playing. And perhaps when he played for Ajax, Dutch League isn't in that. You've got 3-4 hard games. The rest you can piss about. Ajax usually wins 6-0, 7-0, 5-1, 5-2. So he's still getting used to that. And that's a really good point, because again, I'm being honest, when Paqueta first came, the first 5-6 months, I was on his back. I didn't see anything from him. He was constantly losing the ball. He rarely started a game. When he came on, he didn't do anything, and I don't know why the hell we've paid 40-50 million for this guy. So again, it goes back to patience. You've got to wait for these players to settle into the Premier League, which is not only the richest league in the world, it's the toughest league, and we haven't got any patience, whether that's when you've got new managers. I think that equally goes for players as well, really, and we quickly write them off. I'm at fault more often than not. I'm passionate. I want everything from my players for West Ham all the time, and if I see things like, often have a go at Souček, a Gerd and people like that, and then, yeah, it takes time, and it could take a full season. I know we haven't got any patience, but sometimes it takes a full season. And that's things we don't quite understand. I mean, patience used to be there back in the 80s, 90s. We want instant results, really. So that was more or less the whole press conference. Very laid back. David Moyes mentioned he was very happy to see some old faces from his time as Everton, and that was kind of nice for him. Nice victory for him. And like I said in my show yesterday, historically, Goodison Park's been a very, very difficult ground for us, and more so when David Moyes was the Everton manager, when he was there for a decade. I don't think we ever beat them, hardly, Goodison Park. There's no way we ever beat them when he was there for 10 years. I don't think so. And equally Upton Park, they were so hard to play against. Perhaps that's what teams feel like when they play us. I don't know really, but yeah, he was relaxed. He gave a lot of praise to Everton, rightly so. Game could have gone anywhere, And but he's happy. 7 goals in 2 games. Happy for the progress, Alvarez. Happy for Areola. And then also mentioned, got the Europa game coming up. He said it's going to be a remarkable atmosphere over there in Germany, and he's hoping that the form has definitely picked up now from the last 2 games. The confidence is back. Touch wood, there's no new injuries to report. So hopefully fresh, let's give it a go, Europe. And then in terms of qualification for next year, we're 7th, we're back in the mix, we're ahead of Newcastle, we forged ahead of Brighton, we're only 2 points behind United, who literally ain't going to win today against City. So we are literally bang in there. I'm just always frustrated, as you know, because it could be, again, so much better. If we get a striker, it would be so much even better, in my view. And I still believe if we had a striker in the window, one more player, maybe in the wing, we could easily be like even 3 to 4, 5 points clear in 6th place, really. But that's just me moaning and being passionate and always wanting to do a bit more than we do, really. But apart from that, you guys have a great Sunday, what's left of it. And we'll catch up later. Take care.